Hey guys, welcome back. Now let's answer the question, what is React Native? So it is very important to understand that what React is and what React Native is, because they are completely two different libraries. Let's break the word React Native and understand what each of these things mean. React is a JS library. It's a JavaScript library which is used primarily to build user interfaces. So React itself is platform agnostic. It doesn't know where it is being used. It doesn't care about whether it's being used in the web to build a website, or is it being used in an app to build an app. And if it's used in an app, is it an Android app or an iOS app? So the library React is not aware or doesn't deal with all these questions. What React simply does is it builds user interfaces for us, and it is good at just that. So React is good in keeping a copy of the entire DOM, which is called the virtual DOM, in memory, and it updates only those components in the tree of elements that has changed, that needs to be re-rendered. So React is good in all of these tasks. We use a different library when we work with React.js to finally render what React has built for us to the web. And that library is called the React DOM library. And we call the React DOM.render method to finally render whatever we have built into the screen. So the entire rendering into the web page, converting the elements, converting the JSX elements into HTML tags, relevant HTML tags, is all done by the React DOM library, which knows how to translate and use what React has given to it into HTML, into something that the browser can understand. Similarly, React Native can be compared with what React DOM does. It helps us render what React gives us to the mobile app or the mobile platform for an Android or an iOS app. The React Native library gives us a suite of components such as the text component or the view component or the button component or the plethora of other components that the React library, the React Native library to be more specific, gives us to work with. And then we use these components to build complex user interfaces, and React knows how to convert these elements, these components, into native components for Android and also for iOS. So by using the same component, we can get a very different feel when we run the app once on Android and once on iOS. So React Native knows how to translate or compile these components that it provides us into native components for Android and iOS. So it is very important to understand here that when we use some of the components that React Native provides us, those components are actually then translated or compiled or converted into native objects for Android and iOS. But the business logic or the JavaScript logic that you write inside your code doesn't get compiled into the native code for that platform. Instead, it runs on its own sandbox JavaScript environment within your mobile app, but all the UI elements and all the UI components within your layout or within the screen of your app does actually get converted into native components, and thus it gives a very native feel to the app, and in the end really gives you a native app when you build with React Native. So yeah, so this is very important to understand what React Native is and why we should use React Native in building user applications.